topic is why this business model. And number two is I'm looking for 5 partners. What character traits am I looking for? Now, let's start this presentation off by like a simple Google search for online businesses to start in 2024 and onwards. Before we review different businesses, our criteria as Muslims who want to make at least 5 to 10K a month profit quickly are: number one, it needs to be halal, no riba, nothing unethical going on. Number two is high profit plus high volume, meaning as in the profit margins need to be high. Instead of you selling 50-pound products or 30-pound products where you at the end get about 10-15 pounds, right? That's not ideal. We need high profit and high volume. Volume meaning that you can get a lot more of the sales that you like instead of having to rely on, hopefully we will be able to fulfill as well. So it doesn't cause operational drag quickly. Operational drag is where within the business, within certain systems within the business, there starts to become a bottleneck. And in a business model, a typical business model that most people go for, like drop shipping or whatever the case is, there becomes a operational drag very quickly because you're limited by how much you can fulfill, or the customer support and management and all that stuff. So we need something with high profit and the potential for high volume very quickly. And then thirdly would be potential to achieve 5K a month profit soon within a few hours, with a few hours of work a week, right? The maintenance that it takes to run a business. Now, here's a simple Google search. You can do it for yourself as well, but let's together review each business model. Let's start off with affiliate marketing, and I'll quickly, kind of point out things that are wrong with it and the reason why I'm not teaching it. So affiliate marketing, you need a big audience to kind of leave an affiliate link for people to buy, and then you get a small percentage. You need a big audience, so you need to be very, very good at ads, so you can start running ads to other people's product. So number two is drop shipping. I believe that is not halal because of all the research that I've done, because you don't own the product that you're selling. Number three is building apps and websites. Sure, this kind of comes within what I'm teaching as well. You could potentially do website creation, but general apps, the testing, all that stuff, it takes a long time and a lot of money. Trust me, I've done that as well. I won't go into detail with that. But someday I'll tell you, it was a pretty interesting concept. But starting a blog or a newsletter, again, you need to have a big audience for that, so you can leave a link for your product so people can buy that. Teach an online course. It's a good one. Flip your thrift store, basically buying stuff for cheap and then selling that online. Again, it's low profit, potential low volume as well if you don't know ads very well. Then translation, I think Lala does translation. It takes way too much time, and again, it's not scalable. It's not something that you can get to 5K a month profit very quickly. Do voiceover. What the hell is that? Virtual assistants, it's highly commoditized, as in people always wonder, where can I find this cheaper, which means there's people in Philippines doing it for $3 an hour, so you can't really make much money on that. E-commerce is just selling anything online. So again, coming back to, is it your own product? If it's your own product, then you have that fulfillment cost and fulfillment headache, and if it's not your product, then it's not halal. Create handmade goods. Again, you're kind of keeping that thing, you're not keeping that thing in mind. But anyway, I'll just read through these. Coming to social media marketing and digital marketing, all the same things. Coaching, all this is pretty much talking about the same stuff, but majority of them have that issue. Either not halal, they're low profit, and they don't have the potential for high volume because they have so much potential for quick operational drag. Now, this coaching, consulting, online course, SMMA, digital marketing are all good. They're all good. The only reason I teach SMMA, digital marketing, is because you don't need to worry about the product delivery. Just sales and marketing. And I explained this, I think last week or the week before, the difference between done with you and done for you. Done with you is what I'm doing with you guys. It's kind of 50-50. I give you the stuff and then you do it. But there's a lot of pressure on you because I have to make sure that I'm keeping my knowledge up to date, to be authentic. When I'm teaching you guys something, I need to make sure the thing that I'm teaching is actually the right thing, or the way I'm teaching it is the right way. But in SMMA or digital marketing, what I teach is you're outsourcing it to other people Their job is to update their knowledge and keep on learning, etc. And that's why I predominantly teach this, because I ask myself the question, how can I get a complete beginner to 5K a month profit at least as quick as possible? And the simple answer was done for you service, where you're doing a service where you're putting in the time, effort, etc. But again, the good thing is you don't have to do it yourself, you just outsource it. And second reason why I teach SMMA and digital marketing is because B2B is much easier to sell as a beginner, because everything is very transactional. B2B as a business to business, you're the business trying to sell another business. The business owner, they have this certain mindset. Don't waste my time. What's in it for me? Give me a good value proposition and I'll go ahead and do it. And it has high chances of retention, as in you don't have to hunt for clients every single month. So it's basically a very high potential for monthly recurring revenue eventually, which is incredible. Instead of coaching, consulting. And by the way, the difference between coaching is B2C. Coaching is B2C, consulting is B2B. Again, you have the pressure of the product on yourself. Online course, there's a very, very high chance that people won't do the work because there's no sort of communication going on or one-on-one support going on, which is why I hate online courses. So the winners are SMMA and digital marketing. Now, here's my spin on digital marketing, right? We focus on leveraging other people's knowledge and skills, and then we package that up into a I help statement. The I help statement that every single person here has for accounting, construction, whatever the case is. We use that as a package for a commoditized service. Commoditized is basically, something that's looked at as, where can I find this cheaper? Like it's easily found everywhere. So the I help statement, it's called offer. Offer, the definition of an offer is focusing on the end result rather than the product or the how. So that's what most people don't understand, right? We use that I help statement and use organic outbound systems to reach our target market. We collect 1.5 to 2K. That would mean around 1 or 2 clients from those people, which allows us to have enough confidence plus money to start running ads, so we don't have to do outbounds ever again. Lastly is basically once you start running ads, you get inquiries on autopilot of only interested people, close 10%. That 10% is keeping in mind that you have no knowledge, no experience, lack of confidence. Keeping that in mind, you will close 10%, because the industry standard is around 25%. So I've shaved off 15%, keeping in mind that you guys don't have experience, no knowledge, etc. So this is very, very realistic. And then basically those autopilot inquiries will allow you to then stack those monthly recurring revenues. Now, but you might be thinking, but awesome, digital marketing is so saturated. There are so many people on Fiverr and Upwork. Like, why would people go ahead with us? Now, people who say this truly know nothing about business. And I'm being fully honest here, because a market cannot get saturated. Saturation means the market no longer has that problem anymore. And that's just not possible with humans. You fix one problem, the focus goes on to another problem. You fix lead gen for them, the focus goes on to sales. How do I get these sales, or how do I manage these people? So there's always a problem. There's always a desire that people would want. As in, it's even in the Quran, and please do correct me if I'm wrong, that if we were to give you a mountain's worth of gold, you'd always want more. As in, there's always a future desired state for a human. So a market cannot be saturated, because humans will always have problems, and business is solving problems. What gets saturated is offers. Now, the offer of I will run Facebook ads for you might have worked very well in 2010, 11, 12, because that was, something new. Okay, interesting. What the hell is that? New opportunity. So that would work very well. But now if you say that, they were like, yeah, sure you do. Okay, cool. I'll just look on Fiverr and get one for like 50 or 100 pounds. And people who compare themselves to people on Fiverr and Upwork, it's just a silly comparison. And I truly don't have an answer for why they don't do it, why they don't learn the skill of offer creation. It's just a mindset thing. You could also ask, why doesn't the homeless person on the street just work themselves back up by getting a low-paying job and kind of stack up money that way? They just don't. I don't know why. Why doesn't the obese person start eating less and moving more? I don't know. It's just a mindset thing. Like, don't compare yourself to people. It's just you versus you. Now, we are in the game of marketing and sales, turning $1 into three. Now, let's explain that in the example of 5K a month profit. How would we actually achieve 5K a month profit, keeping in mind this $1 into three thing? So, for example, you'd spend 3,000 in ad spend. That would turn into 9K, 3x return, which would then mean, of course, you take off the 4K as in 3K for the ads and 1K for a good media buyer. Just to put it out there, we're not always going to use Fiverr people. It's just an easy way to get into this business, but eventually we use a bit more expensive media buyer who's more experienced, etc. But anyway, that comes over time. But yeah, 4 minus 4K, which would lead 5K profit. Did everyone understand this example that I gave? Please drop a 1 in the chat. Just trying to make sure that you understood this example that I gave for 5K month profit. Okay, I see one's coming in. Boom. Now, let's kind of take a step back and analyze how long does it actually take to become profitable. We're not even talking about 5K profit, but profitable. This is, again, Google search. I'm taking screenshots so you can just search it up yourself as well. How long does it take for a small business to be profitable? It takes 2 to 3 years. I was speaking to this, in the UK, there's a big craze for these burger shops. And I was speaking to this burger shop owner, and I asked him, like, what work did you do before this? And he said he's a lawyer, and he literally sold off, I don't know what, and he put about 60,000 pounds, as in around 80 to 100K USD, into this takeaway. And he said it would take him about 3 to 4 years to become profitable. And I was just thinking to myself, like, bro, like, there's so many easier ways to make money, but I didn't want to say that to him, of course. But I'm just trying to give you an idea. Like, that's what it takes to actually become profitable in any business. Now, I believe there are always right answers or the most efficient answers in life to get a result. I'll give you an example, which you might have heard me saying before, but let's say, for example, there was a race. The race in the distance was 1 mile. One person was on foot, one person was on a bicycle, and one person was in a car. Who would win? Obviously the car, because the person in the car is in a faster vehicle that allows them to get to their goal very quickly. Now, one thing my mentor teaches me is if something works in one arena, it also works in a different one as well. So every principle is a microcosm of each other. So if that works with distance, that also works with goal setting or money making, etc. So out of all the research that I've done, everything that I've done so far, I believe this is the right vehicle. Now, all I want to do is just give you the right answers, at least until 50K a month, because that's something, and I'll stay in my lane. I'm not going to promise you 150K a month or 100K a month consistently, because I haven't done that myself. But 50K a month, it's not just once or twice. I've done it for a very long time, comfortably, so I can easily get you to that point with the right answers that I had. The right answers come from research, doing something, trial and error. So I'm just helping you avoid the stress of doing everything from scratch, years of trial and error, where people say, oh, I can do it myself. It doesn't matter. If you could, then you would have already done it, right? But anyway, even if it takes longer, so what? At least you know you're in the right vehicle. Again, Google search, how much is the digital marketing industry worth? So CAGR means compound annual growth rate, which means this industry, it's growing by 13.1% every single year. So you can do the maths yourself. That's not important how much it's grown from 2023 to 24. But what you need to focus on is by 2032, it will be worth 1099.33 billion in 2032, which means it's a constantly growing market. You're going with the flow of things, like instead of against it. So you're definitely in the right vehicle. All you have to do is just take your share of a couple of $100,000 a year from this billion. That's 100% possible. Now let's talk about focus here. You might be thinking, oh God, How am I going to spend 3K a month? That's so daunting. How does that even happen? And how will I manage those people? And how would I retain clients and this and that? Just focus on your next 3 steps. Focus means saying no to everything else. So let me give you an example. You see this circle. I've drawn 2 circles. Now, a lot of you and majority of business owners, what they think is, oh, more businesses, more streams of revenue. It sounds fancy because it appeals to our innate desire of safety and security, but it's the dumbest thing that you can do in business. The actual way to gain a lot of wealth quickly is focused on creating a very, very highly paying cash flow business, and then put the money that you have with that into a wealth building vehicle, like, you know, stocks or property, which gives you maybe like 10% or whatever interest that you, not interest as in riba, as in, you know, basically getting profit, 10% profit every single year. So people try and focus on, like, you know, spreading their focus so thin, having 3 or 4 businesses, which makes you not move in any direction. You see this first circle, it's going here, then it's going here, then it's going here, where you move barely, you know, with anything. But instead, if you just focus on one thing, one, right, that makes you really have incredible progress. And that's what I've followed, and, you know, I'm an example of that. Say no to everything else. And it also goes for your family and work life as well. Like, you know, you just have to have a chat with your family that, you know, the times that you told me on the daily planner that you're going to dedicate to this business, you have to have a chat with your family saying that, hey, you know, I'm just trying to do this for our family, or whatever the case is. You know, kind of appeal to their own self-interest, saying, hey, if you're a mother, hey, kid, if I make this work, I'll buy you as many PS5s as you want. Whatever the case is, just, you know, make sure that your environment is also allowing you to have that singular focus. So your next focused steps are project 1 in phase 2, then project 2 in phase 2, then number 3 is ads plus automation in phase 3. I swear I still follow this principle. I still you know, work like this up until now. I was literally showing Samira my own next 3 steps, and I'll tell you what my next 3 steps are. Step 1, which I'm focusing on right now, which I need to get a few tax things done, tax/improve client results. So that's why you'll probably see a couple of updates in the program, because I'm really putting all my attention. My media buyer says, hey, should we try this new ad angle? No, because I'm focusing on this, saying no to everything else, right? Once that is done, my next step would be, the second step would be then working on new angles to bring on better, more hardworking people into the program, because that, you know, would determine the results as well. If I bring the right people on who already have that characteristic of hard work, then that would mean better results, improved and faster results for people. And then thirdly would be brand and low ticket. That's like a strong maybe for me, because I don't know if I actually want to brand and work on content and all that stuff. But anyway, I'm just giving you an example of what my next 3 steps look like. Your next 3 steps I'm giving to you, right? So I want to talk about RAS. RAS is basically called the reticular activating system. I've talked about this before, but just to simplify it, you know, the thing that makes you have that confirmation bias when you really like a watch and you start to see it everywhere. You like a shoe, you start to see it everywhere. You like a certain car, you start to see it everywhere. That's the thing that we're using with this next 3 steps model. As in project 1, if you're just focused on project 1 and nothing else, you say no to everything else, then your RAS, because you desire that thing, your RAS starts to look for proofs, like things, you know, your brain can be very creative. Like, you know, that's why we say no to everything else, because then we have that mental capacity for our RAS to do the work. So then it can find the things that would allow us to finish this task as quick as possible, because we are literally a goal-setting machine. This book, Psycho Cybernetics, talks about what do you call it? I can't remember the thing that, you know, he says, the guy, but he basically talks about servo mechanism. Basically, he talks about, you know, our brain's like a missile. If you give it one target, then it will literally, you know, do whatever it takes to actually get to that. So you need to, you know, use that. That's you know, the thing about RAS and why we should have only the next 3 steps mapped out, and the third one doesn't need to be very specific, just roughly. And then second thing would be confidence. Now, you guys don't have the confidence. To have confidence, you need to have to confide in a previous experience that gives you that confidence that, okay, this is what I'll be able to do. Because none of you have done this before, then you have no confidence, which is a pretty logical thing. So there's nothing to be ashamed about or concerned about. All I need you to have is confidence in me, because I believe you can do it. If you on our first call didn't tell me specific reasons why you wanted to make it work, I wouldn't have offered you the program. Because if you just said, oh, I just want to make a little money, that's not enough intent. That's not enough drive to make it work. All of you have specific goals, big enough intent to make it work. That's why this program was offered to you, and that's why I also went in detail with your goals. So every single person, I believe, can get the results. Now, here's an example that my mentor, I was on a one-on-one with him earlier this week, and I was just asking him about, you've been in this industry for a while, like, how many actual big fires have you gone through? And he was like, look, bro, I could answer that question directly and tell you it's about 5 or 6 major things, but I'm still here. I'm still making a couple of million a year on autopilot. He has a son, he has a wife. And he gave me this example. All great people walk with a limp. As in, whatever you're going through right now, whatever difficulty you're going through right now, it's normal. You're aiming for greatness. You are aiming for greatness. So it doesn't matter if you kind of have to walk with a limp. And what that basically means is, if you're going through difficulty right now, it's only helping you. You're going towards something that most people would dream of having, but you're kind of having a fast track way of doing it. So let it be a bit difficult. So what? Now, let me talk about importance of self-awareness as well, which is so crucial, because not just this business. I've been in the public service, not industry, but what would you call it? I've been in public service for so long, doing the mosque stuff that I do, that I noticed so many people, they lack self-awareness, saying, I'm this, I'm that, I'm hardworking, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just thinking in my head, yeah, sure you are, and I'm Superman. If you were hardworking, it would show in your results in life. Like, and I'm not calling anyone out, by the way. You are here to make a change, but I'm just saying, I'm inviting you to have a bit more self-awareness. Am I actually doing the hard work? Am I actually keeping myself accountable? Am I actually sticking to the daily plan that I made myself? Am I actually hitting the outbounds that I need to make to get to my goal? Self-awareness is very, very important. Before I move on to this, please drop a 1 in the chat if you understood that, and 2 if there's anything confusing you, so maybe we can go back to the slides. Just want to make sure that everyone understands this. See one's coming in. All right, perfect. This is good enough. I see enough ones. Moving on to the second topic. Now, as I was saying before, I've been in public service for a while, looking after the mosque, etc. I'm part of the management community. Not going to say which mosque, because that's not appropriate, because they think that I'm using their name to sell my stuff, but I am part of a mosque management community, a very big mosque. Now, that mosque happens to be in a kind of residential area where there's non-Muslims living around the mosque. So there's a whole street opposite the mosque, and also along the street, of non-Muslims. Now, because us Muslims were so well-mannered, there's been a complaint since the beginning of the mosque that our people, Muslims, park, like, basically blocking people's driveways, or parking in disabled spots, or parking where they shouldn't be. And then when you tell them not to do it, they come up with stupid things. And I'll give you an example of what this guy said yesterday, and promise you this is leading to somewhere. Basically, he parked somewhere where he wasn't meant to. I think it was a bus stop. We asked him to move, and he says this: I pay my taxes, I can park where I want. I was thinking to myself, what the hell? Do you realize how stupid you sound? But anyway, he goes away. We go back inside, and then he parks in front of a driveway. Like, there's pregnant ladies, they have to go work. Like, there's all sorts of people who need to leave, but he's blocked someone's driveway, and then we're making announcements. Hey, you need to leave. You need to leave. Like, this lady needs to get out of her house, get a car out, and he didn't come out. He didn't come out. So what I'm trying to say with this is not the first time. We've been dealing with this for years, and I've heard so many stupid things from being in this people's business for for so long that I was just thinking to myself, where do I want to take this? Like, what do I want to do? It would be so ideal if I can just have 5 long-term partners, let's say family members, like people that I'd love to work with. The character traits that I would want is someone who takes accountability, is coachable, has the genuine desire for results and to make a positive impact on their lives or someone else's life. And lastly, pleasant to be around. It doesn't say silly things without analyzing what they've just said. And I'd love to get you to 50K a month. And I'm not talking about not helping you with what the program promises, but this is beyond the program. Like 5 long-term partners where we do some rev share model, where I go through, I run the ads for you. My agency runs the ads for you. I help you with the sales process. I place salespeople, train them. I handle the fulfillment, etc. But something that would be enjoyable because I'm working with the people that I enjoy. I'm not saying I don't enjoy working with all of you, but it's just I'm coming to a point where, especially after what happened yesterday, I was like, what am I doing? Like, these are just silly people and most people are silly. Most people are silly. They don't examine what they're saying. And this is just the direction that I'm telling you guys about. If you feel like you align with this thing long term, nothing's happening right now. But I'm just saying long term, if you align with this, would love to have a chat with you, see how you feel about this. Do let me know what your opinions are about this.